This is Brad Chandler, and you're listening to The Brad Chandler Show.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Brad Chandler Show. With me today, I have One Ton Tommy Gun frontman, vocalist. You know him, Scott Manchester. How the hell are you, dude?
I'm good, Brad. How you doing, brother?
I am living the dream. It's so good to see you, dude. It feels like it's been forever. It's at least been a year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Used to seeing you all the time up at the Massachusetts shows, big ass bear hugs, and seeing the dude throw down in the pit and whatnot when the bands are playing, showing some energy. So before we go in and start talking about the music and whatnot, how you doing, dude? COVID sucks. Like, are you staying healthy? Like, you working? You're going to school, aren't you?
Yeah, man. I'm a supervisor at a medical company in Charlton, and I'm going to school. Trying to get my degree. Things are going good. I just got a thing in the mail to join the honor society, so my grades are on point. Writing poetry, writing music, still doing One Ton. We practice, once a week, and things are awesome. Creativity on all fronts.
Yeah, and one of the first things I noticed as soon as you popped into the room is behind you looks like an entire collection of CDs, but I was mistaken. Those are all video games.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, we're coming to you from the game room. So yeah, I've been collecting for most of my life, and I amassed quite a collection.
Yeah, I could see that. Following you on Facebook, man, I know like you're always posting things about like video games and this, that, and the other thing, but seeing it is a whole different animal, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's one of my passions. I go to flea markets and shit, and I'm always, looking for stuff, and I've been doing it for years, so I've amassed, quite a collection. I'm going to be actually doing, my own streaming eventually. I'm going to be getting a new setup. I've always loved gaming.
We lost you there for a second. Something happened, like you were muted or something like that.
Can you still hear me?
I can hear you now. But so obviously you have a collection. So did you make that by yourself? Make that yourself? That those shelves?
Actually, my buddy, my good friend Trevor owns a store, and he had a bunch of these made for the store, and he bought like a mess of them, and he was nice enough to sell some to me, and they fit right into the wall there.
What a coinky dink, huh?
Yeah. Good friends.
Yeah, it's always good to have friends that can help you out with that type of stuff. So let's get into the music stuff.
Oh, yeah.
When did you know that you wanted to be a musician?
Oh shit. My first show, man. Like for most people, like their first show is like, you go see Metallica or some kind of like huge band for your first show. My very first show was at Pearl Street in Northampton. I was 16 years old, and it was One King Down, Converge, a band called Townie, and Vision of Disorder. And my buddy Jay was like, "Hey, you want to come to a concert?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd never been to a concert before." He had showed me Vision of Disorder CD, and he let me borrow it, and I was listening to it for like the whole week. And I was like a nerdy 16-year-old kid. I like went there with like a sweater and shit, and there was like people with like 666 on the back of their jacket and shit, and all pierced up. This is like pre-internet days, like where there's no social media or anything like that. It was like a really underground, like what the hell is this kind of thing. And I saw kids diving. Every kid fucking knew the words, was like jumping at the stage, trying to rip the mic out of the singer's hand. And I was just like, wow, I want to do this, man. This is fucking cool as hell. There was all kinds of like sick distros that you don't really see too much anymore. But there wasn't just one. Now you see maybe that one guy, maybe. There was like fucking 6 of them, and just like vinyl and everything. And I was just hungry for it. I went and I bought a bunch of CDs. I think I bought everybody's CD there that I saw that night. Became a big fan of Converge. One Came Down, which ended up, back then that was a small show, but those bands blossomed into huge, monumentally known bands. Yeah,
Right.
That was my entry into underground music, probably 1996, and I was fucking hooked.
90s. So you were 16. My first show, I saw Static X at the Webster Theater.
Fuck yeah.
And it was Static X, Taproot, and Pitch Shifter. And I believe Pitch Shifter was probably the best band there that night. And I remember this was back in the day at the Webster when you were allowed to have alcohol down on the floor. You didn't have to sit at the bar.
Like a glass bottle, too.
You were allowed to drink, you were allowed to smoke and everything. So I'm on one of the stairs and I'm watching Static X, and there's this guy behind me, and he's drunk as shit, and he's spilling beer on me. Now, I didn't go with my father. I went with my best friend at the time and his father. I get home from the concert, and my dad smells beer all over me.
He's like, you're fucking tanked, aren't you?
You're fucking drinking. You're never going to another show. And I was like, no, Dad, no. Man. This fucking guy was spilling beer on me, and I don't even like beer. I like fucking hard liquor. So,
that's too funny, man.
It was funny. And luckily enough, I ended up being able to go to more shows with that friend. So. You knew you wanted to do that. Did you know that you wanted to be the front man or, the vocalist?
That kind of happened so I went, my best friend in school, Mike Martin, who's the guitarist of All the Remains now. He sat next to me in school, like pretty much our whole high school careers. Him and my buddy Jay Birch, that I also went to school with, who was the drummer of a band called Flatline, which is our first band. They started jamming together in the Southern. They're like, we all worked at the same place. My buddy Mikey owned a liquor. His father owned a liquor store, so we all work in the liquor store, like loading up kegs in the freezer and shit, menial stuff. And they were like, "Yeah, come on over one night. We've been jamming. We got like 2 songs. She's like, you should come and try to growl over it." So I just went over there, like not really knowing what I was doing. I sounded like Barney from Napalm Death. coming out of the gate, and eventually I kind of taught myself. You practice and you learn. You find out where your range is, and you grow. And then next thing you know, we had a few songs. We released a horrible demo tape that we gave out. This is back in the days of demo tapes. We'd be recording them on. We'd buy the fucking 20 case of cassette. Record them shits, scribble your own artwork on them, and then freaking give them to everybody, hoping they listen to them. So that's how it started, and it was awful. If anybody has that, it's fucking terrible. But that was the humble beginnings of me really wanting to do this. And then we recorded our first album at Planet Z with Adam D from Killswitch. I was actually blessed enough to record 2 albums without Adam at Planet Z. And the rest was history, man. I mean, we had like a good 3.5-4 year run, 2 albums. We got an offer from Metal Blade before the band fizzled out, which people still, love the band. And I mean, the members of the band went on to make some really, really other big bands. I mean, Mike was in All the Remains. John Maggard was our bass player who went to Unearth. Also started in 637 before he joined our band. So a lot of grassroots, on the ground dudes I was able to write music with and be exposed to, which was it was fucking awesome. Like the scene in the late '90s. I mean, it didn't matter who it was. There was pileups, people doing fucking front flips off the stage and shit. It was the best.
I had Craig Silverman of Agnostic Front on a couple episodes ago, and I was telling him
That must be a sick interview.
I was telling him about the first time I saw Agnostic Front was down in the wetlands, and it was pretty much the first time I saw a hardcore band. And if you're going to see a hardcore band, that's one of those bands that you need to see.
Yeah, that's that roots stuff.
But I saw them.
I love hardcore. I'll always love hardcore.
I like hardcore. I'm more into the metal itself.
Yeah, I've always been a metal guy too, but I'll always have a love for it.
But I was telling him, I was like, I went to the show at the Wetlands, and I had no fucking clue who Agnostic Front was, and I only went because my best friend and his father were like, "Oh, dude, you got to come with us to New York to go see this band." And I'm like, "Yeah, any show you guys go to, I want to go to." And so we get there. I see Stigma, and my buddy's dad goes, "Hey, that's Vinny Stigma. Go ask him if you can buy him a beer." I'm like, I think I was like 16, maybe 17 years old at this time. And so I went up to Vinny and I was like, "Hey, he's Stigma. Can I buy you a beer?" He was like, "No, not right now, kid." And that's like I don't remember much of that show.
Stories, though.
I don't remember much of that show, but I remember that with Stigma. And I also remember I went up to the security guard and I asked the security guard a question. I think I asked him if he could hold on to my glasses or some shit like that. And he's like, "Kid, you don't want me holding your glasses. I'm going to be jumping into the pit myself." And I was like, "Oh, fuck, dude. Like, what have I gotten myself into? Whatever." So next thing I see is like, it was The Business and Agnostic Front. There were some other bands there too, but like, it wasn't super crazy for The Business. But as soon as Agnostic Front came in, it's like a whole swarm of fucking people came into the place, right? And now, like, I'm like crunched up against the barricade and shit, or the stage and shit. And the next thing I know is I see the fucking security guard jumping, stage diving into the fucking crowd. I see this is the first time and the only time I've ever seen it. I've seen people actually running on top of other people. I've never seen that since, and I think that was like 20 years ago this year.
Wow.
It was fucking crazy, dude. I
remember some like super huge shows, like going to see like fucking like Family Values tour with like Korn and Rammstein and stuff like that. And me trying to save this fucking girl from getting crushed against the guardrail by like fucking hundreds of people behind her. And she's just against it. And she's yelling, "I can't breathe." So I'm like grabbing the railing and trying to fucking push back as hard as I can to like give her some space. And I'm like, go back. She like ducked under my arm and like proceeded to like go back. And I was just like, "Oh, thank God, that girl was going to get killed."
Yeah, it's the practice of the metalheads, showing, respect to other people. Some know it, some don't. You know what I mean? Like, there's people like you and myself that'll sit there like, "Dude, this person can't breathe. You can see that they're uncomfortable. We're going to try and save them." Or, "Hey,
yeah,
stop the shit for a second so this person can fucking leave." It's not just women either. It's also dudes, because like, dudes,
you see someone fall, pick them up, man. We're all here trying to
get absolutely
something in ourselves. Like, I swing hard when I go, and it's not directed at anyone. It's to get at what's going on.
Right. It's to get that anger and that energy out, and that's good for you. I'm not into the whole dancing, the hardcore dancing, like throwing the fists and the windmills and whatnot and the karate kicks. I'm not really into that, but I know when I go to a show, that type of show, like I went and saw Whitechapel back in 2017, and I literally stayed away from the pit.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do, and I understand that, man. Like, if you're gonna go around it, you gotta expect what's gonna happen, man. Someone's having a hard day that you don't know about, and they're gonna fucking while out. And,
Right.
you know, keep your distance, put your fist out, keep them away from you, and you're good.
The one thing, you know, I'm not gonna harp on this, but the one thing that I don't like about it is there's some people out there that don't do it to get the energy out. They actually, looks like we lost Scotty. But all right, so I'm gonna figure this out. Here we are.
All right, we're back.
Welcome back, Scotty.
I tried to hop back in right away.
It's all good, man. What I was trying to say is I don't like the kids or the people that do it on purpose, like try to hurt the people on the outside. Because when you do,
there are those fucking people too. And,
right.
You know, it takes like dudes that know what's up, that have been doing this shit a while, to like go up and be like, "Hey, man, we don't play that shit, man."
They're called crowd killers.
Yeah.
And
sometimes, like, you know, there's a couple of guys that I'm friends with that we're all rough, but we beat on each other. We're not, you know, singling some person that's not a known friend out, or that's how it is for me anyway. I don't target people I don't know to give them a bad night. That's fucked up.
Just one quick story on the crowd killer thing. I almost got killed at I think it was an All That Remains Cephalic Carnage show. It was Summer Slaughter. Yeah, I think it was Summer Slaughter. There was this huge guy, probably like 6'6", 6'7", whatever, 260-pound dude, and he was just being a dick. And I hate them. I hate those people so much. And I went up behind him and I punched him right in the back of the head as hard as I fucking could. I shit you not, dude. This dude turned around and looked at me like he was a fucking robot. And I was just like, I'm going to fucking die. And two of my buddies came down and fucking grabbed me. And like the joke from that moment on was, dude, you almost died.
Yeah. Yeah, I've taken, you know, I've broken my nose twice. I was at a show at the Fat Cat, you know, fucking years and years ago, where a dude got fucking windmilled and his head got kicked so hard that the back of his head came and fucking hit me right in the nose, dude. And my nose was like blood instantly. I'm like, walk to the bathroom. But like, you walk around, you rock it. Like back in the day, it was like, I don't know, there was like a fucking despair about going to a show. Like it was fucking dangerous. Like you didn't know what was going to happen. Like could be an all out fucking fight. I've been to shows like that. I was at the show at the Fat Cats where freaking there was the Hatebreed riot. You know what I mean? There was like literally an all out fucking bar brawl. And I don't know. Those were the gem stories, man. Like where some like shit went down. You were just like, damn, that was awesome though. You know what I mean?
At that point in time, you're like, fuck, I shouldn't be here. But now it's like, I'm glad I was.
Yeah, exactly. It was, you know, and I people fight, man. It comes with the turf. You got people that are fucking dealing with stuff. That's what this music, you know, draws. But that respect in coming to, you know, with people that, you know, brotherhood and like, you know, picking people up and not, you know, trying to target people. I mean, there's going to be two personalities, and that's in any situation, that are just going to collide. And if the right chemical mixture is in the air for the night, man, you know, shit happens. But
so
it's not what it's all about, though.
Right? No, it's definitely not all about
music.
It is about the music. It's about getting your energy out. That's what, like me, the pitting that I'm used to is the circle pit. You know,
yeah, man.
Do a circle pit,
having fun, not trying to sock someone in the jaw.
Right. It always seems like people are like, I'm going to the show to fucking punch somebody in the face. No. But so what was one of your what kind of shit? What was the worst show, and I don't mean like worst show for your band. I mean like you're talking about like Fat Cats, Hatebreed, the old times back in like the
Yeah, that's
'90s and
old.
whatnot. What were one of the worst shows that you've gone to, in the sense that like there was ambulance just waiting outside for like a shit show?
Oh, jeez. Well, it doesn't pertain to one ton, but there was one time during Flatline, it was the first time I saw the Red Chord. So we played.
Fucking love those guys.
We played with the Red Chord at Bill's Bar in Boston, right across the street from on Yawkey Way, right across the street from the Green Monster. So we played back then. It was fucking awesome. I was sick as a dog. I was like literally like throwing up the entire time before we went on stage. I ended up jumping off the stage at one point and going back up to like put my leg on the stage, and my fucking pants tore. My sack fell out like a fucking egg yolk. And I'm sitting there playing with like a torn hole in my jeans for like the rest of the set. Then fucking the Red Chord went on. And dude, I was like absolutely blown away. I've never seen a room go as crazy fucking bullshit. And this is like, it's not going to be all right. It's not going to be okay kind of fucking days. And dude, that place was like an absolute massacre. People got fucked up. There was ambulances outside. Someone lit a car on fire out in one of the alleyways. It was fucking nuts. And I was just like, wow, I didn't think Boston was like this fucking nuts, but it was nuts that night. That was probably the wildest show I'd ever even seen or been a part of that like played. That was nuts.
They're like 20 minutes away from there. So I mean, they're from Revere.
Yeah.
So that was a
guy's a really nice dude too.
I love Guy. He's actually a police officer up in New Hampshire, I believe.
Yeah.
Him, and then Gunface is doing some. He's doing some music stuff. I don't know where he is. Him and I were talking a little bit like years ago, and I still follow Guy on Facebook, but I don't even try bothering him anymore because he's just so into being a police officer and his animals. So super cool dude. He's funny as fuck awesome. Too. I remember I was supposed to go see them and the Black Dahlia murder down at Toad's place, and that ended up getting canceled because of a snowstorm. And the next time I saw him was at, I think it was the first Mayhem Fest, and I told him about it, and he like signed something for me, and it said "Boo Snow." So I love that dude.
Yeah, the most recent time I got to see those guys was at Ozfest, which was years ago. Back when like Strapping Young Lad was around and stuff like that.
There's another crazy motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
He the one and only time I got to see them, he's like, my armpits smell like your girlfriend's pussy, and I'm like, what the fuck?
You say the wildest shit to the crowd. Like, I remember them ending a song, and he just announced, he's like, I'm the best looking motherfucker in here.
With the skullet.
Full fucking skullet, dude. And I was just like, yes, you are.
He kind of he has that kind of mentality of like Adam D. He's gotta be the funny guy. Who's another person I fucking love, Adam D.
Oh, dude. He's the best. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've never
been
got
at Super Bowl parties and shit at his house. The dude sets up like a full stack of guitars or a full drum kit. Like when the Patriots were in the Super Bowl a couple years back, and fucking they'd score a touchdown, dude. He'd hop on the kit and fucking play like this crazy ass drum in the middle of his living room. Best fucking times ever. I got to go out to LA with him and Mikey Martin for a week vacation. We were right on Sunset, and fucking I got to see all those clubs that you like heard about in like the 80s metal videos, like with Motley Crue and shit, like Girls, and all the strip clubs there have those fucking lights, and it was just cool to be there and like finally see all that shit in person, because I was like a kid when I was hearing those songs, to like go there and was just like, wow, this is where all that shit's from, huh? That's cool. But yeah, Adam's he's the best, man. Brilliant songwriter, brilliant producer.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely he's too good for his own. He's too good for his own good. Did you see the Price is Right episode that he won?
Oh yeah. I remember when he came back from that, he had the 2 cars and like he had won like so much shit. Like you got to pay taxes on all that shit. So it was just like, whoa.
He had to sell it.
Yeah, he won like a car and a truck, I think, or something. Like
he won the whole thing.
Yeah, it was wild.
Did he tell you who he went with?
That was amazing. Just seeing him do it, though. I mean, that is like magic on camera.
Yeah, did he?
So awesome.
Did he tell you who he went with?
No. Oh, I know he was there with this girl, Carissa.
He went with the vocalist for Cattle Decapitation.
Oh, that's awesome.
They went. It was
Brad too, because you did an interview with him, didn't you?
No, I did an interview with Josh, the guitarist. Okay. I'm hoping to get Travis on at some point. I guess he just bought a house, so he's kind of like doing the homemaker thing and staying off of social media all that much. So
yeah, do your thing, man. Find yourself.
Right, you know. So you're like one of the most positive people I've met. You're super like great show and all that. And you know, sometimes when you hear like great show from somebody and you can beat down on yourself because a lot of people are harder on themselves than everybody else is. And it's genuine. It seems genuine coming from you. You know what I mean?
I am always trying to do the best that I have. Like when the music's playing, like with One Ton, like Mikey, PJ, you know, Josh, Kyle, those are my best friends. I never know what they're like when it comes to writing. I never know what's going to come out of them. Like when you evaluate your own band, they pull something out of the air and I never know what it's going to be, but I feel like it always has its own attitude. And I always try to tap into whatever that attitude is and fully fucking invest myself in what these dudes are doing. And I see that in a lot of other bands. Like you're a group of guys that are coming together. If you're an original band and you're literally making something out of nothing, like nothing you're doing has ever existed before you guys started meshing your 5 personalities into this like soul that you let everybody hear. And those things have power and everybody always wants to give to the best of whatever that power is. I'm always trying to encourage that with people. And there's a ton of like, I listen to mostly local bands. I do not listen to anything fucking pop whatsoever. Like any metal band that's really popular right now, like I don't buy their CD. I want, like, I have in my kitchen, I have a CD rack and it's all local bands. Your fucking demos, your CD, your tape. I'm down to support. I want the common man's struggle. I want to see writing from somebody that's got nothing to lose, that's not trying to cater to their record label, that like has fucking real heart. I'm passionate about it. I try to put what's in me out there. And I have a real serious respect for other people that put themselves out there, because when you're, especially for a front man, I mean, if you care what people think of you, you should never be a front man, because you're literally putting yourself up there to be judged. You're putting your writing, you're putting your heart, you're putting your soul. Someone can call you a pussy, or someone can come and be like, wow, dude, I really relate to that. I've been like dealing with the same kind of fucked up shit in my life. And what you said or screamed about really spoke to me. And those are the dudes that, you know, 2-3 shows down the way, they'll come up and want to grab the mic. And I'll be like, yeah, dude, fucking rip that if you feel it. And I love seeing that for other bands too, because we're all in it in the same way. We're all invested in the same kind of thing. And music is emotion. When that emotion, you know, comes out when you guys are playing, it's something to celebrate. And I really believe that.
Yeah. And holy shit, man, that was Well, was that a speech, huh? Um,
Well, cheers. Beer.
cheers.
I'm exposing how I really feel.
Yeah, the beer. It's the beer talking. I remember the
Let's
first
not
time
be inhibitors.
I remember the first time I had somebody come up to me and be like, "Hey, can you tell me what you're saying?" In one of my recordings, and I literally, I didn't do the growls or anything. I was just talking like normally, like you and I were, and it was one of the songs that I wrote about when I was in foster care, and this person just so happened to have been in foster care herself when she was younger,
I bet it spoke to her, dude.
and she literally cried, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I like this touched somebody, like that's crazy.
Yeah, dude. It's a gift. It's awesome.
And then she asked me about this other song that I wrote about my friend who passed away of a heroin overdose, and that's how I met her. It was my buddy's sister, the guy who passed away, his sister. It was her friend, and she was asking me about this, and I told her, and she was like, "Wow, I could like." She never listened to metal or anything, and she was just like, "I didn't actually think that you guys were saying anything that meant anything." And I was like, "No, we're usually putting our heart out, putting our heart out there. We're just not saying I love you and I want to be your baby daddy and stuff,
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to have somebody come up to me and just be like, "Hey, can you tell me like what you're saying?"
Yeah, it's a connection, man. And that's why I love, like you see me at a show, I'll come up and I'll give you the biggest hug ever, dude.
That's what
I love people. I want you to feel comfortable and I just love people, man. I want people to have a good time. I loved having a good time at shows when I was young and pissed off, sometimes for no fucking reason. And you go there and you see someone like absolutely cut loose in front of you on stage and absolutely feel what they're doing. It's magic. And I remember not being a front man all the time and going to other people's shows, because I'd go to shows even if we weren't fucking playing, and I would fucking scream with people or like tear it up on the floor. And I remember sitting outside like a place to eat, like going to Denny's and fucking Chicopee at like midnight, just sweating balls, sitting on like the stoop on the concrete. Hold on. How fucking awesome was tonight?
I got a question for you. Were you part of the year since the storm Denny's thing?
No, that was a great fucking video though.
I saw that shit.
That shit is so good.
I'll have to watch that again.
They were in the same practice space at us and one time. They were like fucking 10 rooms down from us on like the 6th floor of this big factory. We were all rented out. And I never got to go and visit them, but I always liked what they were doing. They were like breaking up right as we moved into the building.
That I remember.
We had Apes of Wrath next to us. And I forget who was on the right of us. But that place was awesome. Like old factory settings with like the fucking pulley elevator and shit didn't work all the time. And then you got to like hook your shit up like 6 flights of stairs after a show.
Yeah, fuck that.
Punished. But good memories, man.
Yeah, a bunch of good dudes. I still talk to Kyle and Donnie on occasions. And
I always liked their music. Good frontman too.
Yeah, I remember one of my buddies he had just bought a house and he had a backyard party, and he had the guys play. He had Years Since the Storm play, and this was before Donnie ended up joining the band. And I remember Kyle, I think he brought like one pair of sticks with him, and he broke one of his sticks. And I just so happened to have like 2 pairs of sticks in my car, but they were like these big fat fucking sticks. And he's like, "Does anybody have any drumsticks I can use?"
Here's clubs.
Yeah, basically.
That's awesome.
Use these fucking beaters. All right, so
it's funny, I talk to my drummer Mikey about sticks all the time, man. And there's like a preference with drummers, man. The weight and everything has got to be like On point.
So how did One Ton end up actually starting?
So One Ton, Josh, Mike, PJ, and I were in a band called Jurin. This is after Flatline, and we did that band for like I think 3 years together. Broke up, and then we started One Ton. One Ton, I don't remember how the heck that name happened. We think we were jamming in a garage. It was like me and friends that didn't even end up being in the band, and like that name came about, and I was like, I fucking love this name. I want to name a band this someday. And me and Josh were both in Flatline. We ended up running into Mike and PJ, who were in a band called Lying Face Down back in the Fat Cat days. But they were like the dudes that were a couple years younger than Josh and I. Josh and I were like in our early 20s at the time. I think I met Mike and PJ when I was like 23 years old. So we started doing the Jurin thing. That fizzled. We started up One Ton, and One Ton's probably, I think, 11 years old now. Or actually, we just passed our decade not that long ago. So we're in our 11th year now. We had a 3-song demo. We had a 6-song EP. We just released a full length last year during quarantine, and then we're working on a 5-song EP to release this year. So our full length, we didn't even get to support it all. We didn't get to play any shows. I didn't get to make any physicals or like do anything. All the stuff that you would typically do to like support an album, we weren't able to do because of this whole COVID shit. But the mix of those guys, I mean, Mikey's probably my favorite drummer to watch ever. So there's that's
Flatline, huh?
Yeah, that's Flatline. So you can see Josh there. So me and Josh ended up mixing up with Mikey and PJ. Mikey Martin went to All That Remains, and Jay's real successful, and I believe Mike Rodriguez is he's living out in Boston now. I believe he dates the girl that does like the Blue Man Group shows in Boston.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
great bunch of dudes. But with Mike and Pete, Mike's probably my favorite drummer to watch. I mean, he is just like so fluent and technically he makes it look easy. I know he's dying because we're both big dudes, but he makes it look so fucking easy, and I've just always loved what he's played. PJ actually started out as a bass player and ended up moving to guitar and has thrived. I mean, PJ has grown so much as a guitarist. And I love all these dudes like my brothers. I mean, literally we found like a good family unit, and you see it in the scene all the time. I mean, most bands only last like a year or two, or they release one full-length album and then fucking as soon as the album comes out, done.
It's kind of what happened to Bound by Betrayal. We ended up doing our demo or an EP, whatever you really want to call it. And after we finished and we released it, we basically were just like,
yeah.
It is what it is.
It's that like if you can develop that family unit, like me, Mike, PJ, Josh, Kyle, we've all seen each other's life struggles, like the hard times, and we've all been there for each other the whole time. We support each other musically, and it makes like a really good unit that has just lasted all these years. And I want to make, like, my goal in life is, I don't give a shit about, being the fucking biggest, baddest dude ever. I just want to make as much music as I can with my best friends before I leave this earth. And I'm hoping it's with these guys the whole time. I mean, I really do love them. They're my brothers.
You're gonna literally make me cry, bro. No, I definitely see the brotherhood and the family camaraderie when it comes to you guys. I don't think you'll see a lot of bands like who will fight with each other, argue with each other and shit, and I'm sure you guys do, but I don't think I've ever seen any type of like negative energy coming out of any of you guys.
Nah, it's awesome every time. Like when it's time to play, we're all on it together. We're all in it together. That's everything that we've written together. And, you know, being in a band for a long time, I mean, those guys were in their bands before, you know, I was in a band with them. Even though we've been together all this time, those dudes have their own experiences about, and I'm sure you do too, is like what you want out of your counterparts. Like, you want to be able to trust them. You don't want like that little, you know, kind of bullshitty conflict that can exist,
Right.
and it can destroy a band. We just don't fuck with that kind of shit with us, and it's really good. And I think it's why we've lasted so long, is we don't have that like ridiculous animosity, or we're all humble. We're not bringing our ego, and we want to write and create and have that be the thing that's respected more than who we are, I guess. I just want people to dig what we do. And
I definitely dig it, dude. I definitely dig it. I remember the first time I saw you guys, it was Max Cap, and it was the Halloween show where you had those big ass chains.
oh hell yeah.
Yeah, so that was the first time I'd ever seen you guys, and I was just like, okay, I've heard a lot about these guys. I'm gonna have to see them and whatnot. And I was just like, okay, well, I saw them. I like them. I'll see them again.
Nice.
And then one of the coolest things to ever happen was the fact that, like, I've played a show with you guys before, but the coolest thing that I think that you guys did was you guys played my very first show that I put on. And I remember I told the guys of Left Hand Backwards that you guys were playing. I was like, yeah, One Ton Tommy Gun's jumping on the show.
That was probably one of the funnest fucking shows I ever played at Cherry Street either. Like, dude, I remember it was raining. The fucking roof was leaking and shit. And it was just like, dude, it was the best fucking time ever.
So hold on one second. So I told the guys in Left Hand Backwards, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna have One Ton Tommy Gun play, and with them jumping on, Cyperna's most likely gonna end up playing. And then I remember all three
fucking favorite.
All three fucking dudes looked at me and was like, if you're having fucking One Ton play and you're not having us play, what the fuck? And I was like, well, what do you mean, dude? Like, I don't want to be playing the show that I'm putting on. They're like, well, put us on. Who fucking cares, dude? And I'm just like, no, I don't want to be playing a show that I'm running. And then they like literally made me feel so bad that I didn't put them on the show that I ended up putting them on the show. I was like, fuck it, you guys are going on first.
Paul and Matt and all those dudes have always been great dudes to us. It was fucking, I loved it. I thought it was, dude, that was a great great turnout too. And the coolest thing about that place is like, it was like wall to wall people. It was like, I was like, damn, fucking Brad throws one show, dude, he's killing it.
Right?
Yeah.
I haven't actually, I technically I had another show, but that was because the people that threw it had my band on, and then they were just like, they ended up like they were like dropping off. They dropped off, and I was just like, fuck, dude. Now it was our first show, and I had to put this show on. It was us, Left Hand Backwards, Seconds from Disaster, and there was this band from New York. And I was like, sorry, guys, like Seconds from Disaster, it was like their first show or something like that. So I was like, I'm sorry, dudes, I don't really want to do this, but it's our first show too. So I'm putting you on first. And then we were last. And I had, what was it? It was like a one-man gang or some shit like that. And I was just like blown away. They were like this old hardcore thrash metal type stuff. They had this new bassist who didn't even know any of the songs. He just turned around with his back to the crowd, and he's just like fucking playing whatever. Yeah, it was fucking awesome. So, all right, so you're on your decade.
Always like, even when I was young, man, I used to love watching the old dudes do it. Like I got to play a show with Crowbar one time, and those dudes were fucking, you know, like. Those dudes were way older than us at the time. And dude, they killed. And I was like, this is fucking awesome.
I don't know, man. Metallica, like you said, was the band that got me that like I wanted to play and whatnot. But I'd have to say it was probably Slipknot that made me want to like start actually playing.
Me too. Like our influences, one of my influences was definitely Metallica. Like I remember making a mixtape of like Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, all that, and like meshing it onto a cassette, and we'd play that on the fucking job every fucking day, like to the point where we like wore the tape thin and like wouldn't play anymore. Like those songs are forever. I just couldn't afford to go see them.
I've only
I could
seen them
afford a $5 fucking Pro Street show, but I couldn't afford like back then like it was like $50 to see a band or 40. There was no way. I made that in a fucking week.
I had the opportunity to go see them 2 times, and it was very, very, very expensive.
I bet.
I was not thrilled with
when I got older, like in my 20s, I ended up seeing all these bands and loved them, but that wasn't what was available, or it wasn't what I was exposed to initially.
Yeah, I got you.
I would love to though, but wasn't.
Okay. So, but you loved Metallica, and they were one of your inspirations and whatnot when you were younger. Let's get your top 5 Metallica albums.
Top 5.
We can do 4 if you want, because it's probably going. It's going to be Master of Puppets,
Ride the Lightning. I like the Black Album. Geez, what am I gonna make the 4th?
You got Justice for All. You got Kill 'Em All.
Yeah, Kill 'Em All. Yeah, that would be it. That would be the 4th. Just Kill 'Em All.
All right, so
Master of Puppets was probably my favorite, and then Injustice for All was a not too distant second. So those are definitely my top 2.
So mine's actually a little different than yours. Mine will always be Kill 'Em All.
Yeah. All right.
It's just so raw. It was just like they were so pissed off and whatnot. They were angry. They were playing this shit.
Guitar tone.
All right, and
like,
so
high pitched.
You go Kill 'Em All, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All, and then I can, if we're gonna do 5, I'm gonna throw like Ride the Lightning and then Black Album.
Oh, I didn't even fucking mention Ride the Lightning, but that was definitely on there.
I mean, Ride the Lightning, I wasn't a big fan of. Like, I still love it, but like, if you give me those 5 albums, that's probably one of those albums I'm going to be like, you can stay over here. I don't know.
One of them has no bass, and I think it's Injustice for All, right? There's like
Injustice for All had no bass, but the problem with Injustice for All was every song was like 6 to 8 minutes long.
Yeah, it was.
So it was a little crazy.
What is some of like the fucking most neck jerking metal, like where you just fucking wish you had like 17 inches of hair so you could fucking throw it everywhere, dude?
Exactly. Absolutely, dude. Yeah. So hey, so why don't you go ahead and give a little like drop what you're doing, tell us about the One Ton, what you guys are doing, when to expect things.
So we recorded a full-length album. It's on Reverb Nation. That came out in 2020. We weren't able to push it because we've all been in quarantine. So coming out the box, we're writing right now. We got almost 5 songs done, so we'll be doing an EP this year. So we're hoping to come out the box with an actual physical of our full length that from 2020 that nobody's had a chance to be able to buy, and then bam, with another 5-song EP from us the very next year. We have some, we had a 3-song demo and a 6-song EP before this. So if you got lucky and I burned that was one of those, burn it and throw it everywhere kind of recordings. Right. That got recorded in a barn in Munson by our buddy Stu. Really, really grimy. We try to increase the grease, so like everything we recorded up until this point has been really like earthy and greasy, and we just hope to continue with that vibe. The stuff that we've been writing lately has been in the past we've written a lot of crazy blast beat kind of metalcore kind of stuff.
Right.
We're really kind of getting into the greasy hardcore vibe, with two steps and like ridiculous breakdowns, really, really heavy stuff. I'm always trying to use my full range and try new things writing wise. As a writer, you always try to make things you tend to make things really personal to your life.
Yep.
I've tried to mess with different things. On the full length album, we did a song called Guts for Sale, which is literally an ad for a gore store, where the guys would sell guts and other body parts.
Okay.
Just kind of trying to have fun with writing and break out and prove to myself that I can do different things, things that are fun and not all about your emotion and your daily struggles. That kind of shit's awesome and completely powerful, but I just want to prove to myself that I can do other things too and experiment and be solid there. So those two things coming out for all y'all 2021, and hopefully we can start playing shows this year. I mean, if not, it'll be 2022, but we'll still be writing the whole time. We practice once a week. We're doing, really well. We all get along awesome, and long live One Ton. These are my brothers.
Check them out on Facebook. You can find them at One Ton Tommy Gun. You can also find them on YouTube. Look up One Ton Tommy Gun. I believe it's banned, right?
Yep, I think so.
One Ton. No, it's One Ton Tommy Gun. And SoundCloud. You guys are up there, so you can find them pretty much anywhere that you need your music fix at. So, Scott, I appreciate you coming on. Just hold on 1 second. I'm going to play your video for your lyric video for the song Swarm.
Cool.
Control.